Without further ado, I just need her there. Here she comes,
There she is.
and she
Okay.
just needs to unmute.
Hi,
Real
everybody.
real estate mogul extraordinaire, Amanda Lewan, who I've known for I don't know 10 years now. I think maybe Amanda. I think it's been a
Yeah,
long.
probably back in my blogging days.
Yes, yes. She had what was it called? Entrepreneur to entrepreneur. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, it was called Michipreneur, Michigan Entrepreneur.
Bishopreneur, that's what it was. Okay. But now she's way too busy with that. She has a real estate empire for the bamboo. It's called Bamboo Detroit, but you actually have locations also in Royal Oak. And now, drum roll, please, you're coming to Ann Arbor.
Yeah. So we are a small business, co-working business, and we just announced plans to open our Ann Arbor location.
Let's talk about that. So I assume it's going to be the same as the other two satellite offices, our main office and satellite office, right?
Very similar to our Royal Oak space. If you've been to that one where you walk right in off the street on a corner. So our Ann Arbor location will be at 301 West Washington, right next to the Blind Pig. And you can walk right in, experience the community. It'll have 3 floors, very similar in size and environment. Super creative and fun. So this location it was built out to be a tech headquarters that the company stopped using during COVID. So we were able to acquire it, and it has quite a few really great amenities like a rooftop event space and things that we're really excited for.
How many square feet is this space?
This one's 24,000 square feet.
Wow,
Wow.
it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big are the other ones?
About 20,000 square feet. So kind of
Okay.
similar in size. Yeah.
Okay.
And the main one I know is in downtown Detroit. I can't remember what street it's on.
It's on Washington Boulevard. So same street,
Yes.
different cities.
Well,
So, but
during the COVID, I didn't get out much. So, I mean, I know I visited down there a few times before COVID. That's our whole world is before and after COVID now, right? So,
Yeah.
well, BC, I guess it works.
yes.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you, now that you've been at this a while, how the use of these co-working spaces and virtual workplaces has changed over the past decade. Like what was happening 10 years ago that's not happening now? What's happening now that wasn't happening back then?
Well, as you guys can imagine, the COVID pandemic completely changed our industry. So often co-working was still kind of a new concept when we first started. Not everybody co-worked, not everybody worked from home or had flexibility. A lot of people still went to a big office. A lot of our members are small businesses, freelancers, startups. Those teams usually wanted the flexibility of co-working, but it was still pretty new 10 years ago to the Detroit community. And when the COVID pandemic hit and more people started working from home, it forced bigger companies to realize that they needed to provide their employees with flexibility. And so post pandemic or post COVID, we're seeing more big companies let go of their headquarters and downsize and instead let their team members work flexibly. And so that means we're seeing more remote workers coming into Bamboo. We're seeing like more of a need for co-working. Our industry is predicted to grow, while traditional commercial office spaces is predicting to shrink a little bit.
Oh, a lot, actually. I mean, just think of
Yeah.
all the vacant buildings there are. The commercial real estate business is collapsing right now because the COVID, everybody got used to working remotely, and even when I know my next door neighbor works at the U of M hospital, she only has to go in once a week, and the rest of the time she's working from home. So
Yeah, my daughter's in IT security at Bosch, and she only has to go in 1 or 2 days a week as well.
Yeah, so if you only go in 1 or 2 days a week, you don't need a big office. You might be more likely to benefit from a co-working space.
Yeah. And in terms of the real estate market, the regular commercial real estate market, I'm at LTU, which is with the intersection of 10 Mile Evergreen and the Lodge. You take the Lodge into Detroit from here, and there's nothing but available signs on all of those office buildings on both sides of the Lodge. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, so commercial real estate is definitely going to be in crisis and go through a lot of change. And our industry thinks some of those buildings should be repurposed to co-working. The other big trend that we've seen is that instead of coming to a big downtown city like downtown Chicago, downtown San Francisco, and even downtown Detroit in some ways, more people, since they're working from home, they want to choose a co-working space closer. So Ann Arbor tends to be considered a smaller city. It doesn't have as many big co-working competitors there. It has local options, but there's not a WeWork there necessarily. So there's going to be a lot more people like living and working from home and looking for local options. So going to more secondary cities is kind of where you're going to see co-working probably grow.
Yeah, and that's what's great about spaces like Bamboo is that you can work from home and then use a Bamboo for face-to-face meetings where you want a little more professional atmosphere, or if you want to do a presentation that's not like this, a Zoom call. If you want to do one that's person to person with a small group or even a larger group. So what kind of talk about a little bit about the presentation facilities and the gathering facilities that you have at these offices? Like how big a group can you accommodate if I wanted to do a presentation to a bunch of people?
Yeah, generally we have meeting space for 1 to 15. So small groups, small teams. In this Ann Arbor location, we do have like a classroom space. So that would be good for 30, 40, 50 people. And then we do have event space that usually can fit 50, 75, maybe max 100. So they are smaller buildings. So it's more intimate meeting spaces and networking, but it tends to really work out well for the community.
Now, when do you open officially?
We are accepting membership now and we are pre-leasing now, but we will be open in about February or March. The building was fully renovated, so it's in great condition. It's gorgeous. Like I said, a tech company had built it out as their headquarters pre-pandemic. We're just building a few private offices. So especially what we found in Ann Arbor is that there's a lot of smaller buildings and a lot of the co-working spaces are desks. There's not as many private small team offices. So that's what we're looking to hopefully introduce to this market.
And I know exactly where that building's located, and you got ample parking all around you. You got surface parking, you got that parking structure right in front of your building. You got all that stuff going on.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's really important.
yeah, well, that's really important in Ann Arbor. I think the unofficial city motto of Ann Arbor is "Welcome to Ann Arbor. We hope you didn't bring a car." So
Yeah, we are surrounded by parking, which is very important to us.
Yeah, we need a light rail coming in from Detroit or something, or going to Detroit, because parking, not so much in the main part of town, right off Main Street, but don't forget, don't even think about being over in the student area and trying to park. It's just impossible.
Well, now there's also a bus. I don't know if you guys know this, called the D2A2 bus.
Oh,
And it's only $6, and you can ride it from downtown Detroit to downtown Ann Arbor.
okay.
And it drops you off like a block from each Bamboo. So we have members. We actually have a member from Ann Arbor who lives in Ann Arbor, has been there for years, but he takes the bus down to downtown Detroit to come network, use our downtown space, and then goes back to Ann Arbor. And so there's some reliable buses that our team and our members have been using that we hope helps to make that easier for sure.
Huh, wasn't aware of that.
well, that's and assuming it's a modern bus, I'm sure it has Wi-Fi and a place to plug in too. So
Yep. You can just plug in your Wi-Fi and work on the bus, and it has lots of different times. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, definitely look it up. We're really excited about Ann Arbor because they have this great university culture, students. They've had some great successful technology startups spinning off from the university. And then in Detroit, we have a lot of engineers and growing companies. So we imagine our Detroit companies could hire students from Michigan to come work at their companies. Our Ann Arbor companies, some of them have looked to Detroit to expand when they need more space or more talent. So I hope it just fosters more collaboration between the startup and small business community.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's that address again? If somebody wants to sign up to become a member, where do they go?
301 West Washington. But they can go to our website, bamboodetroit.com, and look at the location option and select Ann Arbor. And they can schedule a tour and talk to our team, and we'll take care of them from there.